Okay, now we will continue into 2.8, sampling distribution for single proportion. Okay, previously we already looked into the sampling distribution for single mean and the difference between two mean, right? Okay, so what is a proportion? Okay, proportion is the proportion or percentage of a population of size capital N that has a specific characteristic or attribute. The population proportion is represented by letter P. Okay. If X is the number of people or object possessing the characteristic, then P equals to X over capital N. Okay. Now we focus on first a population proportion. So let's say we have a number of population. Okay, N, capital N, and then we have something interested to measure on that population. Okay, so let's say katakan our population of UITM police student, so there's 10,000, let's say 10,000 student. Okay, so that is our capital N. Okay, and then let's say we take a portion from that population, let's say 5,000 from that population. Okay, so that we call it as population proportion P. Okay, so P equivalent to 5,000 over 10,000. Okay, another example, a certain country has a workforce of 133,000 to 500 at a given time, and the number of unemployed is 760. The proportion for unemployed is, okay, 760,000 over 133 to 500. So we get P equals to 0.057. So what does it mean? Okay, we say that the nation jobless rate is 5.7%. We can convert that value into the percentage. Okay, that is population proportion. Then what is sample proportion? Okay, sample proportion is the proportion or percentage in the sample of size n, small n, that has a specific characteristic or attribute. The sample proportion is represented by the symbol P hat. Okay, kalau tadi population proportion we use P, but if the sample proportion we use P hat, yang mana P hat will equivalent to X over N, small n, sebab kita ambil daripada sample proportion. Okay, so make sure awak bezakan these two things. Okay, P and P hat. Okay, P is population proportion, but P hat is sample proportion. Okay, so let's do the example. Suppose we select a sample of size 6,500 from the nation workforce and 390 are unemployed. So this means that the sample proportion for unemployed is P hat equivalent to 390 over 6,500 or equivalent to 0.06. So that means that the jobless rate is 6%. Okay. So the set of all possible value of a sample proportion along with the probability corresponding to this value is called sampling distribution of the sample proportion. Okay, sebelum ni 2.7 tak silap saya, kita dah tengok central limit theorem for the distribution of sample mean. Okay, now kita tengok the central limit theorem on the distribution of sample proportion. Okay, so when all possible sample of size n are selected from an infinite binomial population with parameter p, the following is observed. Okay, so the distribution of sample proportion will have a mean equals to the population proportion. Okay, so kalau kita nak tahu mean of our sample proportion, it will be equivalent to our population mean. That's why dia kata mu P hat equivalent to P. Sama macam central limit theorem for mean, population of mean, sample of population mean. Kan, mu x bar will be equivalent to mu population mean. Okay, so untuk sample proportion, the mean of the sample, mean of P hat will be equivalent to P. population mean. Okay, the variance of the distribution of the sample proportion, okay, sigma squared p hat will be equivalent to this one, p times 1 minus p over n. Yang ni dia cuma proofkan saja, tapi yang penting yang ujung ni. So variance will equivalent to p times 1 minus p over n. And then the standard error of the distribution of sample proportion, we just square root the variance of the sample proportion. Okay, so what is the condition for the sample proportion to be normal distribution? So the condition is, syarat dia adalah NP should be greater or equals to 5 and n times 1 minus p greater or equals to 5. 1 minus p kadang-kadang dia juga guna notation as q. So yang ni will be equivalent to nq greater or equals to 5. So syarat dia adalah np greater or equals to 5 and nq greater or equals to 5. So we have the sampling distribution of sample proportion as follows. So ni cara nak tulis dia punya, nak construct dia punya sampling distribution. So sample proportion p hat will be normally distributed with, okay, with mean equals to p and variance equals to p1 minus p over n. Okay, ataupun p hat will be normally distributed with mu equals to p, variance equals to pq over n. Yang mana q tu adalah 1 minus p lah. Okay, so the standardized variable associated with p hat is given by this one. Okay, kalau sebelum ni kita guna z equals to x bar minus mu over sigma over square root n kan. So sama je sebenarnya bendanya. Yang ni, since kita nak cari nak standardized variable for sample proportion, x bar dia jadi p hat lah. Mu dia, mean dia adalah p. Tengok kat atas ni, mu kita p kan. Okay, and then dia punya variance dia ataupun standard error dia adalah this one. Okay. Now let's take a look at example 9. Construct the sampling distribution for the sample proportion by using the given information. Okay, so let's say you are given p equals to 0.2, n equals to 100. So how to construct the sampling distribution for the sample proportion? Okay, so untuk A, kita tulis macam ni lah, p hat, sebab kita nak construct sampling distribution untuk sample proportion. Okay, mana untuk question A ni dia berkata p dia population proportion dia 0.2. Okay, and either equals to 100. So p hat has normal distribution with p equals to 0.2 lah. Okay, and then dia punya variance dia ataupun standard error dia adalah p times 1 minus p is 0.8 over 100. Simple like that. Okay, untuk B, p hat has normal distribution with p kita adalah 0.35 lah yang dia bagi tu, and then dia punya variance p times 1 minus p over n. So 0.35 darab dengan 1 tolak 0.35 adalah 0.65 over 120. Okay, C, p hat has normal distribution with mean equals to p dia 5% ataupun 0.05. Okay, variance dia 0.05 times 1 minus 0.05, 0.9, 5 over 200. Okay, D, P hat has normal distribution with mean equals to P. Mean of population proportion is equals to P. P kita 0.8, and then here is 0.8 times 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2 over 150. Okay, let's start to look into example 10. The management of Indus store knows that about 20% of their customer who makes a purchase on the privilege card. Okay, so this information of 20% ni adalah referring to value P, population proportion. Okay, a sample of 100 customer who made purchases at the store was observed. Determine that probability that more than 22% of the customer own a privilege card. So what should you do is, first awak tulis dulu dia punya sampling distribution of the population proportion. Okay, so P hat has normal distribution with mu equals to P. P kita 0.2 and variance kita adalah 0.2 times 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8 over n. N kita 100. Okay, so soalan yang pertama dia nak probability of P hat more than 22. So kita convert dia kepada percentage lah. Not percentage, number 0.22 Okay, now kita akan applykan standardized variable tu. P hat dia akan jadi Z greater than 0.22 minus 0.2 over 0.2 times 0.8 over 100. Don't forget to square root. So we will have probability of Z greater than 0.5. Okay, again we will refer the table number 3. So awak tengok dekat your standard normal table. Positive value 0.5 greater. So by referring at the table 3, we will get probability of Z greater than 0.5 is equivalent to 0.3085. Okay, number 2. Determine the probability that between 80% and 25% of the customer own the privilege card. So dia nak probability of P hat between 0.18 and 0.25. So kita standardkan dia akan menjadi Z lah, 0.18 minus 0.2 over 0.2 times 0.8 over 100 square root. So this one will become Z. So 0.25 minus 0.2 over 0.2, 0.8 over 100. So finally, the value of Z will be negative 0.5 and 1.25. Okay, so lukis yang punya bell shape. Ni dia ambil positive and negative side. Negative 0.5, 1.25. So yang kita nak di tengah-tengah ni ya. So awak kena buat 1 minus yang hujung tu. So kita referring the table, 0.5 will equivalent to 0.3085. 1.25 is 0.1056. So the answer is 0.5859. And so please complete example 11 and 12. Okay, I will give the working later on.